Well, tonight at 9, money to fund the Department of Homeland Security is now on standby.
And it comes after Congress failed to pass a spending bill on Friday. Agencies from the TSA and FEMA to the Coast Guard and ICE are being impacted. Democrats in Washington are pushing for reforms of ICE, including ending roving patrols, adding coordination with local agencies, and no more masks. But White House border czar Tom Homan said today that the current lapse in Homeland Security funding will not impact immigration operations nationwide.
Now, the ICE officers won't be getting paid, but they're getting used to that, it seems like. So, no, the immigration mission, the reason why President Trump was elected to be president, continues. We have the most secure border in history of the nation. We got record numbers of arrests and deportations. That will continue.
Now, a recent poll asked independent voters their thoughts on ICE's enforcement of immigration laws, and 71% say they thought they'd gone too far. And this issue is, of course, extending right here into Georgia. Senate Democrats will soon introduce legislation prohibiting the use of state resources to support ICE warehouse detention centers.
That's right. The Department of Homeland Security recently purchased a warehouse in Social Circle that can house up to 10,000 people and has proposed another project in Oakwood. Atlanta News First reporter Justin Berger is live from the state capitol. And Justin, we know that there's been a lot of pushback to these detention centers from local officials, but a Republican that you spoke with is for them 100%.
Yeah, Victor, that's right. Democratic State Senator Jaha Howard believes there are Democrats, Republicans, and independents who think the federal government has overstepped. But Republican Steve Gooch says he believes it is his responsibility to uphold the laws of the nation and state.
Georgia's newest state senator wants to put forth legislation preventing state resources, tax incentives, or infrastructure support for immigration detention centers.
Decisions of this magnitude should not be imposed from the top down. Local residents, local officials, and state leaders must have a voice before irreversible commitments are made that can fundamentally alter the character and the stability of a community.
Howard says Georgia's taxpayers should not foot the bill for these detention centers without clear public consent and accountability. In Walton County's Social Circle and Hall County's Oakwood, officials say they have had little communication with the Department of Homeland Security about the sites. In Social Circle, the 10,000-person facility would double the population of the city.
We do not want to overwhelm a small community like you're just pointing out, but at the same time, we have a duty to respond to the needs of our citizens in our state to make sure that they're safe in their communities and their neighborhoods, and especially in their bedrooms at night.
State Senator Steve Gooch, who is running for lieutenant governor, has strong opposition to Howard's idea.
How does he comfort families like Lake and Riley's family when that illegal came here and literally chokeholded her and took away her last breath in our own communities?
Howard will introduce the legislation by the end of the week.
We must protect human dignity, treat each other with respect, and love our neighbor as ourselves.
So if we have illegals running the streets of Georgia, we have a responsibility to lock them up, prosecute them, and send them back.
Now, also at this press conference, State Senator Rashawn Kemp says he will put forth a resolution supporting Senator Raphael Warnock's amendment to block federal funding for the proposed sites at Social Circle and in Oakwood. We're live from the state capitol. Justin Berger, Atlanta News.